Hey ladies, welcome to Queen TV. This is Esther Adriana Santos.
And this is Dr. Arnessa Bennett.
Thank you so much for being with us today. And we are so excited. We are celebrating Women's History Month.
Yeah.
Woo! Listen, this is the month that we get to celebrate ourselves as women. We get to celebrate each other. We get to celebrate our friendships, the sisterhoods that we've created, and the women who really impacted our lives, the women who have gone before us, women that we've learned about, that we've gleaned from. And this is such an exciting season to really celebrate that and take ownership of who we are in our feminine essence. Listen, I love to talk about womanhood, Arnessa, and I have my beautiful co-host here, Dr. Arnessa. And listen, we've been talking behind the scenes about everything that has been going on with us, and we have so much to share today. So stay tuned. We're going to have an amazing segment today and just talk about all things womanhood, having to do with Women's History Month and things happening on in our lives that I think you all would just have an amazing time and an opportunity to really learn some things from what's going on with us. And we just are so excited to share. So, hey, tell us what has been going on with you. You have an announcement, by the way, and I want you to share with all of our beautiful audience, what are the updates going on with your newly appointed position that you've started working in the mayor's office, and you've had some really exciting things happen recently.
Yes.
Tell us, share with us.
For those who may be watching us for the first time, in January, I accepted a job as Director of Special Projects for the Mayor's Office in North Little Rock, Arkansas. And since then, let me go back a little bit. I'm the first African American woman to hold that position in the history of it being a government in North Little Rock. Then a week or so ago, I was told that I was going to be appointed to the Public Building Authority Board. And I got sworn in Thursday of last week. And I found out I'm the first African American to hold that position. So already this year, I mean, God has been working overtime. And, people might think, oh, it's not a God thing. It's because you worked. And I'm like, you can work, but God knows how to divinely orchestrate opportunities for you. Because these opportunities, I didn't even ask for. They were presented to me. And that's why I know it was a God thing.
Yes.
And let's see.
Well,
I got my COVID shot. I got my first one.
yes, that is awesome. Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations. That is, I mean, a double milestone in the first 3 months of the year is an incredible accomplishment. And we know that when things like this happen, we know it is the hand and it is the favor of God over your life. And what a wonderful time it is to be a woman, right? What a wonderful time to shine in our feminine essence. And you have this amazing opportunity and platform to really show up as a woman and show up as an African American woman, all at the same time in this amazing season. So congratulations to you. This is epic. This is an epic moment.
It really is. It's like sometimes I just like, let me pinch myself. Is this really happening? It's really happening. And and also tomorrow, I know we were doing low carb, but tomorrow I'm starting Weight Watchers. And the reason I'm starting Weight Watchers, our company, the city of North Little Rock, is paying for us to be a part of Weight Watchers. So why would you not if your company is paying for it? So I'm gonna try. I've never done Weight Watchers before, so I hear it's good.
Things. Yes, I've heard amazing things. I know friends that have been a part of the program and have done really, really amazing. So I am excited to hear about your journey, and we'll be keeping our viewers, updated as we go on and watch your progress and everything. That's exciting. That is so exciting. Yeah, I've had some pretty amazing things happen this week. And, we a few weeks ago completed our 5-day Purim retreat for women.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. It was amazing. We had such a beautiful turnout of women. We experienced 5 days of transformation and really experienced the restoration of God, healing of God, deliverance, and really, ended our week with a pow of joy and
Oh,
really taking over and taking the territory that God has really designed for our life. And so it was a powerful week. We had some beautiful dynamic speakers with us, and
very
and
good.
God just did it. God just did it. And it's been such a pleasure and an honor just serving many women. And it's been phenomenal. It's been really, really amazing. So I am excited to just continue, helping women in these areas of transformation and healing. So listen, we want to keep going on this theme of Women's History Month.
Okay.
And one of the things that we want to talk about is the women who have gone before us. And, I feel like as little girls, we've all had somebody to really look up to, and really maybe we've said, hey, this is the person that I want to be like, or this is the person that I'm inspired to be like. And so Arnessa, who for you was somebody that inspired your life, or one or two people that inspired you, and why was this person so important for you growing up, and how do you feel like for you now that's been important?
Well, if you know me, you know it's Diane Carroll is one of my people. I saw her when I was like 7 or 8 years old on TV. Her show was called Julia, and she was this mother that her husband had died in the war, and she had this little boy, but she worked. She had this beautiful apartment. She wore these beautiful clothes, and she was so glamorous. And at just a young age, 7 or 8, I saw her, and I'm like, when I grow up, I want to be like her. I want to be glamorous and wear makeup and have my hair styled. And here today, I'm
Wow.
still this person. But then as I grew up and I followed her career, I saw how she was able to endure different things that she had gone through, and she was able to live her life the way she wanted to do it, and the way because back then, as an African American woman, people wanted to put you in a box, and she
Mm.
wouldn't allow anybody to put her in a box. She played a lot of the hotels and, like, singing, and that were like really for white people, but she broke a lot of barriers doing that. And then she went on to TV. A lot of people know her from Dynasty. She was on Dynasty, and just all her life, she was always that elegant woman who was classy. I mean, just I don't know that she was just a woman who I wanted to be like when I was little. And still, she just passed a couple of years ago, but I still think about how classy she was all through her career.
Mhm. Wow. That's beautiful. And there's nothing like when you're a little girl, you just have this desire, I feel like your dreams they have no limits, and that shapes so much of who, you want to be. I could say, like, as a little girl, to be honest, there wasn't really somebody that it wasn't until my later years that I
Okay.
started seeing people that I thought were not only beautiful on the outside but also on the inside. And for me, Audrey Hepburn, I think, is
Okay.
one of the
Yes.
beautiful, iconic women in Hollywood. But a lot of times we don't understand, or we've not known the story behind these iconic people.
Yes.
And I watched her documentary, was I was shocked and incredibly just empowered because we knew her to be such a beautiful and woman of class and glamour and just a beautiful actress. But
Mm-hmm.
she actually grew up during the time of the war, like World War II,
Oh,
and
really?
she went through homelessness and
Oh,
starvation.
what?
Like this woman really went through a challenging time in Europe during the time of the war.
Hmm.
Um, and she grew up a very sheltered young woman, but she always had like this zeal, and she loved to model, and she loved to do like all these things when she was growing up, but then she
Hmm.
had to move away and really escape the war. And
Hmm.
she went through starvation. It left her physically ill like for many many years,
Oh,
um,
wow.
which sometimes, like while acting, it left her, it wouldn't allow her to even perform sometimes from the long-term illness that she
Mm.
had to go through. But, um, you know, all of these things that she went through allowed just such a beauty to come out of her, and you see that in her acting. She's such a even the work that she did, like with UNICEF later on, really, and
Mhm,
feeding
mhm.
children, really came from her
Right.
place of understanding starvation,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
and like they went through a really hard time. And so she went through a lot of malnutrition. But I love to see her story, like being a Hollywood actress, but knowing her story, where she came from,
Mhm,
I think creates, such an interesting, dynamic, the
mhm.
person who you are on the inside and how you got there. Because a lot of time people see you shine on the spotlight, but they
Yeah,
don't know how you got there,
right,
right? She
right.
obviously had a talent, but she overcame so many obstacles, and she made it. And so I would recommend anyone who really wants to learn about her life to really watch her documentary. It's so powerful, and it really gives you a greater respect for the work that she did,
It's
such as Breakfast at Tiffany's, of course, which is like one of her most iconic movies. But she was amazing. She was an amazing
and
woman.
and and even with Diana Ross, she talks about in some of her in her memoir is, she was always this outside looking beautiful, but she went through some things, and a lot of the things she went through were with relationships, and not, sometime back in, especially back in the day, men, they were like, this is what you do, and you don't need to have a career, and you just need to be my wife. And she knew that she wanted to have a career, and a lot of her relationships did not succeed because of that.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, it's beautiful to learn about their histories, and I think we are able to get so much hope from them, that despite what they've been through, it helps us to see, like, hey, if they went through it and reached the stardom that they did, it's absolutely possible, especially nowadays, right? Us as women, so many
Exactly.
decades later, we're able to do even so much more. So incredibly, incredibly exciting.
But even with us being able to do more, we still end up having um, things happen sometime when you you try to be that nice, positive, professional woman, but you still run across things that try to push you past your boundaries. And especially for the modern day woman, we have to make sure that we take ownership of who we are as a woman, be that in the work, in your career, in your community, in your family. You have to set boundaries. You have to let people know, I'm not going to allow you to take me somewhere that I'm not going to be willing to go. And I think once you do that, people will respect you more, because if you don't say something, it's gonna keep happening and happening, and it's gonna get so big to then you see these. It's a show called Snapped. You get to the
Uh-huh.
point where you snap, and then people go like, "What's wrong with her?" Because you didn't push her to the limit. This went on for probably months or years, and then finally she gets to the point and she snaps. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen to us. You got
Yeah.
to just, as my mother used to say, use your words. Let people know what you want. And we have to do that as women today. You have to let people know, I don't want you to do this, or this is what I want.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you brought that up. I feel like, we live in such an age that many times women's quietness or gentleness or niceness,
Or
right? You
being
got
a
a nice
Christian woman,
smile, or being a Christian
they
woman,
think, oh, she's a
right?
Christian. She ain't gonna say
Exactly.
nothing. She gonna do what I say because she's a
Exactly.
Christian. We can
And
be a Christian and still tell you what we're not gonna do.
exactly. But it may make people think that you're weak or that you don't understand boundaries, right? And
Hmm.
so I feel like in this time, just as women, we have the opportunity to shine,
Hmm.
you know, in our feminine essence, but so many women give other women bad names, and I
Yeah,
think we have to show up for the category of women who are both powerful and poised, who
I
are
like
not,
that.
yes,
Powerful and poised.
yes, and aren't harsh. You could be assertive and not
Yes.
be harsh, right? You could be loving but still hold your boundaries. And I feel
Hmm.
like that's an art form. I feel like being able to do it is such an art form. My second, well, I actually will say my first favorite woman that I feel like has shaped me really in my adulthood, because like I said, when I was younger, like I don't really feel like I had like role models like that. um it's the biblical character of Esther.
You were
um
named after her. Why
she,
would you not?
it wasn't until my adult years that I really understood, why this biblical heroine really is one of the most empowering women that we can talk about in the Bible, among many others. But I loved how she went into the kingdom having to learn some protocol. There was protocol that she
Yes.
had to learn. And there was the way of the woman was not really known because women didn't have a place, not in society and not even in the kingdom. This was just
Right.
not allowed. But
Mm-mm.
I was able to learn and go deeper, even like during our week of Purim that we just went through and celebrated this great feast of Esther, to understand the power and the authority that she had. But she was so wise.
Hmm.
This was an incredibly wise woman that understood, like, she knew how to come before the king, right?
Yes.
She knew what to say, how to say it, and when to say it.
Yes.
She was a woman that was guided by prayer and not by her emotions,
Oh,
right?
oh,
Pause. Pause.
say that right there again.
Yes, she was a woman guided by prayer and not by her emotions.
Emotions. And a lot of people, I mean, I can tell you how I feel without cussing you out, and you get the message. And I do with a smile.
Yes. And I mean, talk about, we can say that, if we talk politically, right, that could be very diplomatic. But as women, I think I don't know, it's an art form. To be a woman is really an art form, and to
Yes, it
learn
is.
these characteristics, to really grow into them, that I believe they're innately inside of us, right? But it's really how to
Yes.
develop them and grow into them. I feel like it would take us so much further as women if, as women, we learned how to communicate. If, as women, we would learn, boundaries with each. I mean, oh my goodness. Listen, Arnessa, this is why, like, I love you, and you're like one of my favorite people, because we can have conversation, and even though we've known each other for not a long time, we understand boundaries and protocol and friendship and sisterhood and like all these things that come to play in, in trying to do something together, in either building a friendship or building a business or collaborating or doing things together. It takes an art form, a willingness and a yielding to each other, right?
Yes.
Like we work with each other, not
Mhm.
against each other.
Right.
And women, we can be so much stronger when we unite in love and in care and in just the humanness and compassion that we have, so that is an incredibly important thing, that as women we so need to learn those boundaries. And listen, Esther wasn't like, yeah, she grew up an orphan, but she learned a couple things. And by the end of the story in chapter 10, she was sending her enemies, kid or enemies, children, to, like, she annihilated the entire enemy line. She was no joke. Like, this woman was like, yes, if it pleases the king. And then afterwards, by the end of the story, the king was like, what do you need, Esther? What do you need, Queen Esther? Even up to half of the kingdom I give you, just tell me what you need. Now it wasn't even her coming to him. Now it was him coming to her. What can I give you?
He gave her the
I'll give
power.
you what you need.
He
Yes.
he gave, but this is what is so important.
Yes.
People want to keep you back the way you used to be.
Mm.
Just think if they had to say, "Oh, Esther, ain't she adopted, or isn't she from wherever, whatever?"
Yes.
Who is? Don't allow people to keep you back where you used to be,
Wow.
because God is already preparing you to go to the next level. That's why it's so hard for women to step into their destiny, because they're afraid of what people are going to say, because how they grew up, maybe they didn't have enough clothes to wear, they were from a crazy family. That was back then.
Yes.
Everybody has a destiny. Don't be afraid to walk in it.
Yes.
I can truly say all the things I've done have brought me to this place that is my destiny.
Yes.
And I thought the other day, I was saying, wow, this is happening. I'm 60 years old, or 61. I'll be 62 this year. But then the Holy Spirit said, what are you talking about? Mary Kay didn't get wealthy until she was in her 60s. Colonel Sanders didn't get wealthy till he was in his 60s.
Yes.
So what's the age? Age has nothing to do with it. That's why it's important that we keep our health.
Yes.
In the Bible, people lived to be 100 plus.
Yes.
And was still doing stuff and still believing God. So don't worry about the age, but don't be afraid to walk into your destiny, because someone will ask you, just like with me, would you like to work on the mayor's staff? Yes. Would you like to be appointed to this board? Yes. Just think if I was insecure and afraid to step into this unknown, which a lot of women are. Don't be afraid. God is there with you. Every day, all through the day, God is guiding and leading me and telling me what to say, tell me what to do. When I go into a meeting, he has me prepared already for what's going to be said, how I'm going to say it. So don't be afraid. I
That's
get
so
on my
good.
soapbox now.
That's so good. You know, it's true. And I love that you talk about this because there's that fear, sometimes a level of insecurity, right? Like women sometimes say, well, what if I'm not enough? Like, what if I'm not qualified to do this job? What if I don't know enough or I don't have enough or I'm too old or I'm too young? Like, you know, we can't let others dictate
Mm-mm.
and put, the glass ceilings around us. We have to know that there is a calling beyond
Yes.
whatever our mind has imagined, whatever our heart has thought. Like, God has these amazing plans for us. And
Yes.
I think until we get comfortable stepping out of the box, stepping
Yes.
out of our comfortable cocoon. Listen, this year for me, I've stepped out of more boxes than I could imagine. Yes.
Get on out there, girl.
Absolutely. I've been doing things and talking to people that I never in a million years thought I would, being in spaces that I never thought I would, and saying yes to things that, oh my goodness, as the young 15-year-old, very much lacked in confidence and bullied for the way that I looked and the way that, from my everything, just never in a million years would I have thought I'd be talking about beauty and self-care and be a coach and help women, who've gone through abuse and trauma and marriage relationships, right? Like divorce and all of these things, like, but there's a season of preparation, right? Like,
Yes.
I feel like our season of preparation it opens the
Yes.
door for the
Yes.
Kairos time of God. And
Yes.
so, Arnessa, I know you, I mean, you've talked about it in several segments, how you prepared in many ways, and things you've been learning for years. And guess
Yes.
what? The reason that God can say, hey, Arnessa, are you ready for this? Like, I've got this job for you
Mm-hmm.
here. Like, the reason you could say yes is because you've been preparing.
Yes.
And as women, many times we don't prepare because we're afraid we're not ready, but it's in the preparation that we become ready, right?
Yes.
It's how the open doors become available, it's how expansion becomes possible. So
Yes.
we cannot fear as women becoming prepared. And I feel like I learn things all the time. I'm always reading and I'm researching and all of these things because I want to be better, not just for myself,
Right.
but also the group of women that I've been called to, because I
Mm-hmm.
know that
Mm-hmm.
I have an assignment as all of you. There is assignment and a group of women and somebody that God wants you to serve. And so our job is always preparation as women and understanding who we are and understanding our identity. It just becomes an incredible part of our process of healing and just getting to the next level of destiny.
I've been doing so much reading here lately because I thought once I left college and got my PhD, I wasn't gonna be doing no more studying. Not okay. One of the things I read was you cannot go anywhere unless you first see yourself there. And that might seem like, well, this is so simple. Oh, I see myself. You have to actually see you where you want to go, because you have to make sure that when you get there, you're ready and you are able to be there and maneuver in that world. That's why a lot of people do not do well. They might get into a position, but they never really saw themselves there. Now, I have always known that I was going to touch a lot of lives. I knew that I was going to help people. I didn't really know exactly which I thought it was going to be in the coaching where I would be doing international travel and coaching, but I see every day, even in my present job, I'm coaching, I'm ministering, even when, because it's a lot of hurt people in the world, but I always knew I was a leader. I always knew that I was a motivator. I knew I was a encourager, and I'm doing all of that, even in this job.
Wow. I mean, and absolutely. And it's so biblical because it says that your gift will make a way for you,
Yes,
right? And God places you in positions and platforms that you're able to utilize the gifts that He's given you. And no matter where you are, you have a platform because it's what
exactly.
God has given you. And whether, I mean, you don't have to be on a church pulpit to
You do
minister.
not have to
Right?
be on a pulpit.
Wherever you are, you become the walking church, you know, you become
Exactly.
the walking symbol of Christ and showing God's love and compassion and character, right? Character, because He's always
Yes.
building our character, and we learn about character with people that we meet. And so it's an incredibly important process. Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that about the character, because another thing we have to realize while we're preparing ourselves, people are watching.
Mm.
I have had number of people say, I saw you, but you weren't close enough for me to say anything. And you always smiling, you're always happy. People are watching your character and how
Wow.
you interact. You might not see them, but they're seeing you.
Wow.
Now, how would it look? I'm supposed to be this leader, and then I'm at the Walmart cussing somebody out or going off on somebody. Mm-mm.
Mm.
Your
That's so
character
good.
is
Yeah,
important. How you
that's
carry yourself. People are always looking, even when you don't know, they are watching you. Terry, I married Terry Harwick. Someone was saying, we were at a meeting or something, and someone was saying, "Oh, you always dress so nice." He said, "Yeah, she been dressing nice ever since I've known her." And we've known each other for over 20 years. Oh, way over. He said, "Yeah, she always looks nice. She's always smiling, she's always happy." Now this man remembered that from way back.
wow.
So people are watching, because I'm like, I didn't realize he realized I could dress nice. He paid attention.
Wow.
In the position that he has me in now, especially on this new board, and you're gonna have to excuse my voice because I've been talking all day at meetings. He knew that I would fit into this position because he could have chose anybody, but he chose me because he knew I would fit in. And people say, "Well, I don't want to fit in." If you're going to, everybody says, "I want to go to the next level. I want to go to the next level." Okay, when you go to those different levels, you can't be the same person you were. Like, if you're at level 10, you can't be that same person at level 30. I am constantly redeveloping, reinventing, polishing myself. I'm always learning. So people say, "Well, when did you get finished?" When you die. Because if you are wanting to have a certain type of life, you got to always be working on yourself. Always working on yourself. That's why I'm getting ready to do this Weight Watchers, because that's the one area that I'm really having problems in. And these masks, if they haven't taught me anything, is, girl, you need to get this weight off so you can breathe. Because I have that mask on, and you
Wow.
have to go up some stairs. And when I get to the top of those stairs, I got to go over to the corner just to recompose myself because I can't talk because I'm out of breath. So I know. And so when they say, "Oh, yeah, The mayor's offering us free Weight Watchers. I'm like, count me in. That's a no-brainer.
Exactly. And you could say, well, I've arrived. I don't have to do any of that stuff. But for the person who understand the kind of level that they want to be in, I don't think it's ever enough. And I don't think that's a bad thing to say. I think it's a great thing to always be striving for better. Obviously not in the flesh, but from a place of knowing our true identity.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to be better every day and to reach new goals and to further ourselves and to have vision. And that's the thing about vision. Many people, many women including, do not have that vision to be able to create things bigger than them. You've got to be willing to create something bigger than you because it's not about you. If somebody were to give me $1 million today, I know exactly what to do with it. And I need like 39 million more. Because my projects are ginormous.
Yes.
Multiple projects that I can tell you exactly my plan, my blueprint. I feel like I'm building a city every day because in my mind is what I'm striving for. In my mind is the vision that I have, because it's not about, I'm one person. Do you think I can do this all by myself? Absolutely not. But I have a vision for something greater, for purposes, for service, for just so many things. And it's exciting. It keeps me motivated every day. It keeps that enthusiasm. And I think that's another reason why we jive so well, Arnessa, because our level of enthusiasm, because of the vision, because of the integrity and all the things that we've spoken today. And purpose, obviously, God has ordained a purpose in this, but it's important, for women out there, find somebody who can really, walk that walk with you.
Yes.
A friend, a sister, a coach, somebody that can walk with you and really you help balance ideas off of each other. You feed off of each other's energy, create visions together, get yourself a vision board, which we talked about 3 months ago, right?
I'm looking at mine now.
And it's important because you gotta have your vision in front of you.
Yes.
And look at all the amazing things that have happened, right? You have your vision board in front of you. You're looking at your vision board every day. Look at the amazing things that are already happening. And that's an incredible component. As women, we've got to learn how to strategize. I have a program that I just launched called Wise Women Build, and it's a 9-month transformational program, coaching program for women who want to learn how to build their lives in wisdom, learning how to build the 7 pillars of their lives and learn to reign as queen in their queendoms. But it takes strategy, it takes wisdom, how to learn how to manage the different areas of your life, how to have your hand in the different areas in your finances, in your career, in your education, in your business, and your faith, in your marriage. Like, all of these things require attention. How do we do that, right? Like it's a lot of work, and you need strategy, and you need wisdom, and you need to learn the things that you need to learn in order so you can build. And so this is why it's called Wise Woman Build. It has to do with the scripture that says, that a wise woman edifies her home.
Yes.
How do we edify? How do we build? We are divine architects that God uses. So, it's incredibly strategic. And this is why, we can sit here and talk about the amazing things, happening and encouraging you at the same time.
Yes.
And, with us, you find just sisterhood that is rooting for you. If you are watching and following us, we are rooting for you. And we hope that these segments are of encouragement to you, are of inspiration to you. And, continue to follow us, shoot us a message. Any questions that you may have, you can certainly respond or comment to our page. You can follow me at Your Queen Life on Facebook or Instagram. And Arnessa, what's your handle?
They can Dr. Arnessa Bennett on Instagram and Facebook. But this is what I wanted to say before we close.
Yes.
I had said that I wanted to, because my schedule is busy, but the Holy Spirit keeps putting on me, to do some mentoring to women, and I wanted I want to mentor 10 ladies that are 30 plus, because I feel like when you're in your 30s, you're really mature, and usually at that time you're really ready to make some changes in your life. So if they can go to arnessa.com or on my Instagram, Dr. Arnessa Bennett, and just, what is it, DM me, so that I can work with you. But this is something that I want to do, and it's only going to be 10 ladies that I'm going to be working with.
Yes. Well, great. That is awesome. Listen, you've got some amazing coaches and mentors here, ladies, and we're here to help, to serve, and support you. So make sure you follow us on our pages, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channels. We love you, and we just thank you for, joining us and just being part of our sacred space, ladies. We love you, queens, and we can't wait to see you again.
And don't be afraid to walk into your destiny and make yourself the woman that you want to be.